Hi everyone. I have had the funniest few moments trying to do a take on how to teach you about a 5-minute mindfulness meditation. And do you know what? I've absolutely mucked up every single time. And this one is going to be a little bit different because actually, do you know what I did? Is I just sat there for a minute and just went, wow, that's gone wrong. Let's see why. And so I took myself into myself and started questioning, started asking myself why clearly things weren't happening the way I wanted them to. And sometimes that's what happens in life, isn't it? I'm actually going to post one of the takes at some point because it was actually really funny. And it is what happens, isn't it? We want something to go right. We want something to sort of work out. And sometimes it just doesn't. And the reason it doesn't is because even though we've decided we want to do it one way, actually our soul is saying you weren't supposed to do that, or you weren't supposed to say that. You were pulled up on some level, either instinctual or something going on that meant that it was time for you to stop and take stock and just sit for a minute. And sometimes that's what we got to do generally, rather than just marching resolutely forward, is actually just stop and breathe and ask ourselves, why is this not working out the way I wanted it to? And start to listen to our soul and listen to what's going on. And now I've done that, and now my soul is saying, now you can do it. I want to tell you about a little mindfulness meditation, connecting you in with the 5 senses and connecting you in with all the really lovely things in your life right now. Sometimes when things aren't going right, we forget that actually even if one thing's not going right, the other stuff is still there to remind us. So what I do in the mornings is I just sit for a minute and I just look around me and I say, what can I see that I really appreciate? And I just take that moment to see what there is around that I really appreciate. Sometimes it's as simple as the flowers. Sometimes it's if I've got people around me and I appreciate them. Sometimes it's the colours are changed somehow. And I just sit for a minute and I just appreciate that thing that I can see, whatever it is. And then I think, what is it that I can hear that I really appreciate? Well, right now, at the moment, it's the rain. It's really gorgeous, actually, so I'm appreciating that. And I just sit for a minute and I just think about that thing that I would really appreciate. And then I think about what it is that I can smell. Do you know what I can smell right now that I really appreciate? Cup of coffee. Yeah. And then I think about it and I just appreciate it just for a few minutes. And then talking of coffee, I think about what I appreciate that I can taste. And so for me, I can just sit for a minute and I can think about that. And then I think about what I can feel. Well, what I can feel is comfort. And what I can feel is a good pair of jeans. And I can have a think about what I feel physically. And then I can also have a think about what I feel emotionally. So at the moment, I've still got a whole load of laughter inside of me from the amount of takes before I just stopped. And I think about how that feeling is, what I appreciate about that feeling. And for me right now, it was the learning that I've just gone through that was really good fun. And I'm still laughing about that. So have a think about, for you, what there is. Just wherever you are now, whatever you're doing, just stop for a minute and think, what can you see that you're grateful for? And what can you hear that you can appreciate? And what can you smell? And what can you taste? And what can you feel? Nice, isn't it? I'm going to post some of these outtakes. Definitely. Ah!